name's Alexa. Are you trying to be more minimalist or trying to follow the KonMari Method and struggling because other people in your household aren't on board? Well, somebody asked me that question recently in a comment, and I went right to the source, which is Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, The Japanese Art of Decluttering, and wanted to see what she said, because she definitely addresses the question of how to get rid of things when other people seem to be accumulating faster than you can get rid of them. And so what she says is, if you're mad at your family, your room may be the cause. She says, even if I tidy, the rest of my family just messes things up again. Or my husband's a pack rat, how can I get him to throw things away? It can be very annoying when your family doesn't cooperate with your attempts to achieve the ideal home. This is something I experienced many times in my past. And so she describes trying to clean her siblings' rooms or her parents' rooms and all the spaces in the house, and she would get very frustrated with her untidy family and dealing with clothing rods jammed with outfits I'd never seen my mother wear, suits belonging to my father that were clearly obsolete, boxes of manga belonging to my brother covered the floor, and then she would confront people and say, don't you use this anymore, and try to get rid of them. And it would always just rebound. And so what she started to realize was that, and then she started to secretly dispose of people's things. And I've done that myself. Actually, my husband sent it to me too. But that, people would start to notice. And so she realized that, that was sort of arrogant and she shouldn't do it. And then ultimately she got forbidden to tidy anything except in her own room. And ultimately what she learned was that she still had a long way to go. So it's the old, take the log out of your own eye before you criticize the splinter in someone else's. So really turning to her own problems and trying to solve them herself. And she, being an example, she then started to notice a change in her family. And this is similar to something that Fly Lady, who talks about home management and cleaning and organizing, she talks about that as well, not being a martyr, not, trying to get other people to do things, but really focusing on yourself and focusing on sort of blessing the house. So, I struggle with this constantly, and here as we're starting to get ready for the school year, we've done a couple things. We've done some big process of going through my kids' clothes, and obviously with kids, they don't think about discarding things and decluttering. So clearly I have to guide that, but I don't. It's a cooperative process. So we go through it together, and then I folded up their stuff in their drawers the way the KonMari style. Of course, they don't keep it like that, and they don't like that, but they were pretty impressed at how much space they had once I had folded all their stuff. But here's a really interesting point that she says. So she says, to quietly work away at disposing of your own excess is actually the best way of dealing with a family that doesn't tidy. As if drawn into your wake, they will begin weeding out unnecessary belongings and tidying without your having to utter a single complaint. It may sound incredible, but when someone starts tidying, it sets off a chain reaction. Quietly cleaning on one's own generates another interesting change, the ability to tolerate a certain level of untidiness among your family members. Once I was satisfied with my own room, I no longer felt the urge to dispose of things belonging to my siblings or parents. And then she says when she noticed that communal spaces, the living room or the bathroom were messy, she would clean them up without a second thought and never bothered to mention it. And she noticed the same thing with her clients. And so she says, if you're feeling annoyed about your family being untidy, check your own space, especially your storage, and you may find things to throw away. And, pointing out someone else's failure to tidy is usually a sign that you're neglecting to take care of your own space. So you should always begin by discarding your own things. Now, having said that, one reason why I've done a lot of videos lately in this room, this is the living room, and one of the things that I did when I first started the KonMari process, almost 2 years ago, this room was a big eyesore for me. It had a huge couch in it. You can see my old videos and see what it looked like. There was a huge TV in it, and a huge couch and desk and furniture, and but the main thing was that couch that I was so done with, and it was, the big sectional, I don't know how many feet long, and my joke is how many cows died for that because it was made out of leather. It was given to us. But anyway, it had seen the end of its days, and I was so happy to get rid of that. But the other thing is getting rid of the TV. Between those two things, nobody touches this room anymore. So it's like my place. I mean, occasionally they come in here because they're like, ooh, this is nice. It's all spacious and empty. You may find living in a household that removing something that attracts people, such as a TV or the computer, if you remove it from like a hot spot or put it in a place that's more strategic, you may find that people respect other places better. The other thing is, you know, it's just one of the difficulties of life, man, is living with somebody else, living with other people. And people are annoying, right? And living with other people is difficult. So as I approach the school year and the end of the summer, and I'm kind of tired of being with my children all the time, 24/7, I start getting annoyed because I feel like, oh my goodness, I can't stay ahead of the mess. And I mean, frankly, I've always felt like that. I can't stay ahead of the mess. So the other point I was going to make is if you do find that somebody has sort of started to stockpile, or what I'm finding is we have some new stockpiles that have started to accumulate around bathroom supplies, soaps and toothpaste that for some reason my husband has started to stockpile. It's not too bad, it's not like a crazy amount, but what I notice with stockpiles in our family, what happens is if we have extras of anything, people start to be wasteful. So we can't store it here. It's like they say, store it at the store, don't store it here. Because if we store anything here, people start to waste. And the other thing that my kids will do is, like the other day I saw, they had been enjoying making themselves pancakes in the summer with a pancake mix. So I'm at the store and I think, oh, I'll get 2 pancake mixes. And then I was like, nope, do not do that. Do not get 2 pancake mixes, because they will just blast through them. And the next thing you know, everybody will have eaten, 25 pancakes a day for 3 days. And so anything extra for some reason triggers in them a sense of, I must finish this now. And in the case of toothpaste, like just giant globs, and there's like 3 half-used toothpaste things. So I really urge you to reconsider having duplicates or triplicates of anything, because you A, have to store it, and then B, you may become wasteful about it. And then C, you may change, and so it's nice when there's certain things that you don't want to have extras of, because you're going to change your preference, and this allows for that change to happen. If you are struggling with somebody who's not on board with being minimalist, once again, as Marie Kondo says, focus on yourself, focus on your own processes, how you yourself can be more minimalist. Try to let go of their areas, try to refocus on your own areas. Be a good example, and hopefully you will see a spillover. And I can say after 2 years, I think I've seen a spillover. And when I say 2 years, that's 2 years of KonMari. Prior to that, I mean, I've been decluttering for forever, but definitely Marie Kondo was the thing that pushed me over into the minimalist territory, where I started to really get to what she talks about, that sweet spot, that click point where you go, this is enough. And you have to be aware that Marie Kondo does not consider her process minimalist. And she urges people not to go past 70% full on the shelf. So she urges people not to go to something that's too empty, because she has seen that people will fill it back up. So while she does say in your initial purge that you go through, you're going to reduce your stuff to maybe a quarter of the possessions you had before, in her later book, Spark Joy, she kind of emphasizes not going too far, and also once you have hit that click point, that set point, realizing that it's not a battle to have the least amount of stuff, but rather a sense of being conscious and joyful about the things that you do have. So, I don't know her personally, so I don't know how minimalist she lives. It would appear to be, by my standards, or by Western standards, I suppose, fairly minimalist. But regardless, she doesn't label it that way. So I hope this has been helpful. Keep focusing on getting that stuff out of the house, one in, one out. If you're still going by category, finish a category and move on. And I will probably do another video soon on the bathroom, because as I just mentioned, it's starting to overflow, and so that needs to be addressed and we need to do some storage and purging, etc., etc. All right, well, I hope that was helpful. Let me know how you're prepping for the new school year and how you're dealing with somebody who's hampering your efforts, how you're trying to stay ahead of the mess when somebody else is like actively pushing the boulder back down the hill as you're trying to push it back up. How is that for a good Greek reference? All right, talk to you later. Bye.